Leading volunteers can often feel like walking a tightrope as we balance so many conflicting things. For example, needing to be a people person while also tapping administrative and technological skills, managing people and events while also leading a strategy. One that comes up in conversations often is this: having to balance being welcoming and having boundaries when it comes to screening volunteers. I'm Beth Steinhorn, president of VQ Volunteer Strategies, with a few quick tips on walking the tightrope of volunteer screening. This is part two: saying no when no is the right answer. If you watched part one, you heard my case for making a screening policy that is accessible rather than open. And part of that means that you will occasionally need to decline a volunteer. So here are a few tips for saying no, even if that doesn't feel easy. I've lost count the number of times I'm asked for templates on how to decline a volunteer who applies, and I always recommend considering setting the stage before you get to drafting those rejection emails. So let's take a moment to consider instituting policies and processes that do set the stage so that these awkward situations can be avoided or at least mitigated in the future. First, implement a clear application process. When all individuals are expected to apply for a volunteer position, then it's clear that the organization will be selecting only those individuals who are right for available positions or have the capability of becoming the right fit based on the training and your capacity to support them to do so. Two, create a comprehensive screening policy. It's important to have a comprehensive screening and placement policy that allows for outright declines or rejections of candidates who aren't eligible due to age or credentials, who are not the right fit based on skills or competence, who don't have the ability to become the right fit through the training and support you have capacity to offer, who don't pass your background checks based on legal or regulations or your organization's policies. Finally, communicate rejections clearly and promptly. In turning away a candidate, it's important to be clear, concise, and brief. While some experts recommend doing so by phone, I strongly encourage you to follow up in writing, regardless of whether you call. Having a written record is important. In terms of content, remember, you don't owe candidates a lengthy explanation of why they are not being accepted. Explanations can only invite rebuttals, and that doesn't serve anyone well. In the comments below, I've shared a link to a blog with some suggested language for brief, clear declines. Remember, investing in this process now will pay off in the end. As the late, brilliant Susan Ellis wrote, and I quote, "In an ironic twist, if your organization develops the reputation of setting standards and not accepting every candidate who wishes to volunteer, you make being accepted as a volunteer status symbol. This is a big boost to your ongoing recruitment efforts," unquote. Again, I'm Beth Steinhorn, and I encourage you to embrace your role as a leader and advocate for these policies within your organization. It may feel like a delicate balancing act, but that tightrope will lead you and your organization to more impactful engagement.